Welcome, everyone, to Sports Shorts Daily on this Monday morning edition. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Chrysan, TK joining us at Court Street Cafe in the heart of downtown Port Allen, Louisiana. I'm in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. You check everything out at lasportshall.com. And, of course, we're presented by LeBear's Casino. LeBear's Casino in Baton Rouge. Check out the sports book. Awesome place to not only have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but also watch all of the action. College football playoffs, Super Bowl coming up February 9th in New Orleans, etc. All right, TK, over the weekend, we finally put to bed the New Orleans Saints season. They look like, if you're a Saints fan, they teased you for 58 minutes or so. Looked like they were going to maybe pull off the upset, showed signs of life. They're going to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're up 10 at halftime. No, they lose to Tampa Bay. And if you're better like me who thought Tampa was going to cover the 15, all they did was mess up your money. But the Saints finished with 5 wins, the 9th pick overall in the draft. That's where they're going to pick. They do have a top 10 pick, but albeit the 9th pick. So they did move up a slot yesterday in the game. Tampa Bay wins the NFC South. My futures pick on Tampa to win the Super Bowl is still alive, albeit maybe just for one more week because they take on Jaden Daniels at home next week in the playoffs. LSU men's and women's hoops. Women have a good weekend. They win it now 2-0 in the SEC. They play at 15th ranked Tennessee, who, oh, by the way, lost to Oklahoma at home. So LSU takes on its toughest road test of the year for the women's team, 15th ranked Tennessee this Thursday. You'll be able to see them. Remember, Mulkey's squad is undefeated on the year. For the men, Tommy, Vanderbilt came to town. It was the first SEC game of the year on Saturday. The men laid an egg, albeit they showed signs of life in the second half. They were down double digits, came back, had it tied with 7-8 minutes to go, and then right there, ended up losing. This is going to be I think it's going to be a tough year for the LSU men's team, albeit this team may be just as good as last year's squad that finished 500 in the SEC. The problem is the league is way better.
The league's a whole lot better, and they got to go to Missouri this week. Missouri 11-3 as of today. So, when they tied that game in the second half, you're thinking, okay, find a way to win it. Somebody step up, somebody do something. It did not work out, and they lose that first conference game. So now you got to turn the page because you got a tough road game, but you hit the nail on the head. The SEC men's basketball, who 10, 12 years ago were lucky to get 2 teams in the tournament, they are dominating the top 25 when you look through the numbers, and they got some top-notch basketball. Could get tough for LSU.
It's a Tigers issue. I'm going to do this the rest of the way. I'm just going to put a little small number on the under for LSU basketball the rest of the season. I think they just are going to struggle to score points 3 out of every 4 games, which is all you need to do to win. They don't have scorers. They got a little grit. They got, some good young players. If they stick around, these things are with the portal and all that. But they just don't have enough people that can put the biscuit in the basket. And I think that's going to, if they're going to win games, it's going to have to be defense and grinding it out. And the other team's not going to be able to shoot. LSU lost a basketball game at home in SEC play against Vanderbilt on Saturday, where they shot 50% from the field and 82% from the free throw line. If I were to tell you that, you'd think, well, they won. They won easily, probably. No, they lost because they got out-rebounded terribly on the boards, and they had 6 more turnovers than their opponent. And so, again, they got to play so perfect because they're limited in some areas. I just don't think it's going to happen. The NFL regular season came to a wrap. We already had one coach yesterday get fired, the head coach for the New England Patriots. 1 year on the job. It used to be that a head coach got 3 years, at least 4 years before they let you go. Those days are long gone in college and in pros. 1 year as a head coach in New England. They're already looking for a new head coach. What a difference for the Patriots. They finished dead last in the AFC East for the 2nd year in a row. No Tom Brady, no Bill Belichick. It's a whole new world over there. We expect maybe some more firings today. We know a coordinator already's been let go.
Plus, Doug Peterson was canned by the Jaguars after 3 years. So he's out of a job, and they kept their GM and didn't do that. The New York Giants announced they're keeping their coach and GM. They think it's going in the right direction. They need a quarterback more than they need a coach and a GM. But yeah, so now it's the New Orleans Saints who finished 5-12, first top 10 pick since 2009. Now there've been a lot of 12 and 13 number picks, but first top 10 pick. It was pointed out this morning since Sean Payton left, the Saints are 49 and 66. Should Mickey Loomis come back? I think he's going to come back. Everything I can read and gather indicates to me he's going to come back. Gail Benson's not going to make the change. Doesn't know she should make the change, my opinion. But now it's up to him to hire a coach. And Ronnie, you hit the nail on the head last week. Of the job openings, and we got, 5 of them now, and you could get another one or two, that Saints is the least attractive job. Plus, Dallas, you got to, McCarthy's contract expires next week, and he's not on the contract after that. But because of the salary cap, because of the old roster, if you will, it's the least favorite job or the least most attractive job. Now, there's only 32 NFL head coaches. Somebody's going to take the job, but not somebody who's got an option or got a choice. Ben Johnson from Detroit, he's the hot name. He's got his choice. Is it going to be New Orleans? Probably not. It's probably going to be somebody that, didn't have a lot of choices. And do they dive in? Already names flying around, the old timers, if you will, the Pete Carrolls, the John Grudens, and people like that, those names are flying around, but you got to let it play out and see what's going to happen going forward. But the Saints situation, I mean, they haven't said anything yet. They did say Rizzi would get to apply for the job or be interviewed for the job. Now, they said that yesterday, but that's just window dressing, in my opinion. There's no way on earth he can be the head coach of the team next year. So the pressure's on Gail Benson. The pressure's on Mickey Loomis. Saints fans are gonna keep a close eye on this.
Yeah, yesterday might have been the last time you saw Cam Jordan, Mario Davis, and Tyrann Mathieu in a Saints uniform, albeit Cam Jordan said, he'd love to finish his career with the Saints. Can't imagine himself playing anywhere else. Well, if he feels that way, he's going to have to give a big hometown discount. How strong does that matter to you to play your whole career in one franchise and not have to, move your family and all that kind of stuff? So we'll see what transpires there. But yeah, it just doesn't. Whatever the deal is, and I know that the ownership and the Saints, from a marketing standpoint, be able to sell tickets and suites and sponsorships and all that. You can't say, "Hey guys, listen, I want to apologize for the next 2 years. It's going to be rough. Hang in there, buckle your seatbelts, because we got to get this salary cap situation underway. We don't have any money to go make a play." So we're going to have to just, hang in there. We're going to do the best we can to give you 500 or have a winning record. You can't say that, but that needs to be the direction of this franchise. This is a 2-year fix. This isn't even a 1-year fix, because those that know more than us about the cap situation kind of have said that, no, this is about a 2-year fix, unless you just want to keep doing the Mickey Loomis kick the can, which made sense when you had Drew Brees and pieces, Michael Thomas and all, when you had these guys in place and you thought, okay, I got a chance to win, the conference is not, but that's not the case. And so be honest, or, as best you can with the fans, but know that this is probably a 2-year fix, and every head coach is going to know that. And that's why it's going to be a tough one. John Gruden is a name that people throw around, and, John Gruden's doing a good job right now with Barstool and things like that to try to repair his image from the leaked emails that, in 2021 and his reputation and all that. John Gruden may be a guy that has enough cachet who's willing to get back into what I got to do to get back in the NFL. May not have a lot of options. And that's where the Saints may come in. Obviously, they brought Gruden in as a consultant a couple times. He's had a relationship with that organization. They're familiar with him. That's where a guy like that could be we got John Gruden because no one else wants John Gruden.
Well, I'd be for that, and I'd make him a GM too, or let him select somebody who he knows. I mean, he knows all the people around the league who he thinks could be a good GM, whether it's a current GM or an up-and-coming guy or an assistant GM, because Gail Benson doesn't know the answers to those questions, okay? I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be mean, just being honest. She doesn't know the answers to who would be a good GM, who would be a good coach. And if she's going to, I wish they'd come out and say, okay, Mickey Loomis is staying or he's not. make the announcement so that the rest of the chips can line up and get in line, and the rest of the dominoes can fall, and you can begin hiring people because all these coaches, there's 20 something assistant coaches for the Saints. They're all going to be looking for jobs, and all these other teams that have let coaches go. There's a lot of guys polishing up their resume this morning, and the Saints should not sit back. I mean, I think they got to try to get proactive and get something done, my opinion.
An interesting debate that's going to happen now is you've got a team in the Cincinnati Bengals who did not make the playoffs in the NFL, and yet they have two players in Burrow and Chase that arguably could be MVP of the whole NFL or the AFC for that matter. But will they? Because, you finish 9-8 if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. You don't make the playoffs. You got a story in Saquon Barkley who's rushed for over 2,000 yards and didn't even play the last game of the regular season. You got a guy in, Patrick Mahomes, once again, 16-1 or whatever, or 15-1 as a starter. You got, obviously other storylines. You got Goff in Detroit. You got your quarterback in, Allen and with Buffalo. What do you think is going to happen in that? At the end of the day, do you think Joe Burrow, as great a season as he had, and by the way, speaking of John Gruden came out online and said he thought Joe Burrow should be the MVP. He said it on Barstool yesterday, regardless of the record. His numbers are that crazy. What do you think?
Troy Aikman also said his vote would be for Joe Burrow because of what he did. It's going to be hard not to give it to Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. And I think the most valuable player team, who was the most important to their team. Well, the Bengals went 9-8, and they fired the defensive coordinator this morning. So, I want to shout out Jamar Chase wins the receiving triple crown: catches, yards, touchdowns. He led all three categories in the NFL. Rummel High, LSU, Jamar Chase, the best receiver in the NFL. We've said that numerous times on radio and Sports Shorts Daily the last couple of weeks. I don't know that Burrow can get it because of the 9-8, and they're not one of the 7 teams in the AFC playoffs. I think it's going to end up being Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
And it's funny because we mentioned 4 names right there, and you didn't say Saquon Barkley. When's the last time a team had a running back went over 2,000 yards, and they're one of the best teams in the NFL?
Well, I mean, it's a tighter race than it's normally been. There's been years when you're like, okay, Mahomes, here you go, here's the trophy, or whomever. Right. But it's a very tight race, so it's going to be close, and this could be plenty of discussion after. But you're right. I didn't mention Barkley, but in a league that doesn't feature the running backs anymore, he's clearly the best.
I mean, they legitimately have 5 or 6 guys that you can make a case for to be the NFL MVP. That's something else. I mean, they have had some sensational seasons.
Well, and don't forget, Ron, Sean Payton's got the Broncos in the playoffs for the first time in 9 years too. So not that there's an MVP there. I'm just saying, Payton. I mentioned him earlier since he left the Saints.
The rookie
49ers. Yeah, they're 49-66 since he left the Saints. Denver was going nowhere in a hurry. It's his second year out there. He's got them in the playoffs, and it surprised some people. There's no question.
Yeah, they surprised everybody because with Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback who wasn't, a top 5 pick, this is, I mean, as great a year as Jaden Daniels has had, and he has. He clearly is the best rookie quarterback. Bowers, the tight end for the Raiders, the tight end out of Georgia, should be the rookie of the year. I mean, what he's done is set records and done things no one's ever done and all that. Although they're a horrible team, the guy, it's stupid what he's done over there. And I want Jaden Daniels to win it, but it would be a disservice to the award if Bowers, in my opinion, doesn't. But what Sean Payton has done, like after last year when he and Wilson couldn't figure it out, and he blew up that organization and got rid of players and all that, like people were down on Sean Payton. They thought Sean Payton was ridiculous, and that was clearly Drew Brees and da-da-da-da. Here he is going about his business, and the Broncos now with 10 wins, and they're in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. I mean, and the quarterback he wanted. he even said before the draft for months to anyone who would listen, Bo Nix is going to be a guy. He's going to be a stud. Bo Nix, Bo Nix. And Bo Nix did perfectly, but he got better as the season went on. And obviously, they're doing something special up there in their business last night. They played a Chiefs team that had to win to get in. Played a Chiefs team that laid an egg. They didn't have anything to play for. They got their dudes, which is understandable. And the Broncos took care of nothing. But super impressive year for Sean Payton. The two most disappointing teams in the NFL were the Bengals and the Dolphins. Both of them not in the playoffs, and the Dolphins really laid the egg. A lot of that, two are being hurt for so many weeks. But the Dolphins, they were expected to compete for the AFC East or at least make the playoffs. They're nowhere near it. And then, of course, the Bengals are the best 9-8 team in the history of NFL.
Yeah, it's a couple of storylines for the ones that didn't make it. It starts with the Dolphins and with the Bengals, and then the Atlanta Falcons. Had their chances, didn't get it done. So hey, the playoffs are set. 7 teams in the AFC, 7 teams in the NFC. Bunch of games this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday nighter, and it'll all come to an end in New Orleans in the Super Bowl, in the Superdome on February 9th.
Got a feel for the Vikings. They get beat 31-9 to the Lions last night. Of course, season the Vikings do 14-3, are 5th seed, and won't host a playoff game. It's never happened in the history of the NFL. A team that good is not the division champ or not hosting a playoff game. It feels a little bit like the Saints back in the day against with the 49ers in the same division, right? The Saints would have this really good team, but yet the 49ers just were better with Joe Montana and Jerry everybody else. But hey, the Lions have had a fantastic year. They took care of business. They're not even 100% healthy, but yet there they are. Playoffs are going to be interesting because in the AFC, Tommy, the road goes through Kansas City, but yet none of us think Kansas City is probably the best team. They just figure out a way to win each and every week because they got those dudes and Kelsey and Mahomes, and they got the best coach in the NFL. But you got Kansas City to go through. You got obviously Buffalo, who's excellent. You got the Ravens who are just coming on, and they got, like you said, maybe a league MVP. So, those three are the teams for me that if out of the AFC I'm eyeballing, and the NFC, the Lions, the Eagles, don't sleep on the Vikings, although, Lions and Eagles to me are a lot better. It's going to be fun because and I don't want to just sleep on any other teams. Do we really think Eagles is good? Tampa, no, but the Lions or Eagles, to me, it's a coin flip wherever that game's being played.
I agree with you on that. It's going to be some fun playoffs, and there's going to be an upset or two. We just don't know where it's coming from. We wish we did because we go to the sports book at LaBerge and we get wealthy on that. But it's going to be a fun playoffs, and of course, college football playoffs. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday, but that happens Thursday and Friday. So all the bowl games are done. So it's going to be just nothing but college playoffs and NFL playoffs. It's going to be like a rest of the month is all playoffs in the world of football.
By the way, the update on the college football semifinals, the latest line, a little bit on that.
Notre Dame is now a 2-point favorite over Penn State. That's in the Orange Bowl. Weather should be fine. 45.5 over under on that. And that's Thursday night. Then Friday night, Ohio State still a 6-point favorite over Texas. Steve Sarkisian's name being mentioned that some NFL teams may go after him. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. Ohio State, Texas, 53.5 on the over-under there. I kind of like the under. That's an early thought. So, yeah, that's going to be a Thursday night game, Friday night game. Then you got Saturday, Sunday, Monday of NFL playoffs, 5 straight days watching playoff football.
It'd be curious to see what Sark he have that NFL want to in his DNA, because I take all the money he wants at Texas and it over other teams and resources for facilities as well as players and coaches. No one's going to have more money than them. So, you have everything in place over at Texas to be dominant and be very good and be a consistent, playoff contender every single year, and should be in the playoffs at least every other year. If so, or you go to the NFL where you could coach 1 year and be done, 2 years and be done. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious.
Right.
Just how dealing with NIL and dealing with the portal and all that kind of garbage is tiring and wears coaches down. Whereas in the NFL, there's a whole front office that deals with contracts and deals with all that stuff. All you do is, here's my roster, and we go figure it out. So we'll see.
So, Ryan, I want your thoughts on something. It's gotten a lot of attention. Mike Evans got that catch in the over 5 yards on the final play of the game, which got him a $3 million bonus. $3 million bonus he got. Now, Scott Shanley, former Saints linebacker, said he's embarrassed that they didn't have like 2-3 guys on him. Don't let him break the record. They didn't do anything different, and I don't know if they knew a record was about to be broke. They had a yardage thing in the stadium was counting his yardage. So somebody on the Saints sideline should have knew that. And a lot of people just can't believe the Saints, quote unquote, let him have the record. And a $3 million bonus. I mean, I'm sure they wanted to throw it to him. There's no question about that. Should they have like double teamed the guy and tried to prevent that from happening? Your thoughts?
I would have liked to have seen the Saints do that, just because, hey, that's your hated rival. But at the same time, the players on the field are a brotherhood. They want to see Mike Evans get the record. They want to see Mike Evans get the $3 million. I mean, as players, they feel that way. As coaches, they could have said, hey, we're going to, they're coming out here and the timeout was called. Okay, hey, now we're going to double team these guys, triple team, whatever. Don't let them get that record. But it's a players' league. Who knows? Mike Evans might have come to the line and said, "Yo, dog, $100,000. Let me get this catch." I mean, seriously. I mean,
Yeah, I might have done it if I was Evans. I do. Just give me a little cushion here. As soon as I get 6 yards, you can tackle me. You can pile on, pull my face mask. I don't care.
Yeah. Look, it's a little rinky-dink whenever you get a record like that. Like Saquon Barkley didn't play the last game of the year. He could have gone after the record to try to beat Eric Dickerson's, single-season rushing record. He didn't. I hate the fact that got the sack record with Brett Favre.
Strahan. Yeah, that was terrible. That was bad. That's the worst part of Brett Favre's career. But Ronnie, here's another thing too, though. Saquon Barkley's thing, that became a decision what was best for the team. Okay, they had to put the team first over a record, which you're supposed to do. The Mike Evans thing, the game was won. The Bucs were winning the game. They were going to the playoffs. Okay.
Reception, they were risking losing the game to get him the record.
Yeah, what if he throws a pick
or strip fumble or something? Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah, yes. It was risky. Like I said, he could have been sacked, fumbled, scoop, score, 2-point conversion. We're tied. These are low percentage plays, but these are things that you would never do.
If it would have happened, I know it was a needle in the haystack. But if they would have had a scoop score, a pick six, and tied, and they lose and don't go to the playoffs, although the Falcons lost, but they didn't know that when they were snapping that ball. I don't think, because the Falcons game went overtime. But that would have been something took forever to get it. Kind of like the butt fumble with the Jets, 20 years ago? They still talk about that. If that would have happened. But it didn't happen, so Buccaneers are in the playoffs. And Mike Evans got $3 million bonus.
When Tampa ran that play to Mike Evans, the Falcons game was around the same amount of time, about a minute and a half to go. It hadn't even gone to overtime yet. So who knows if this would have won the game? Would that have motivated the Falcons differently to play? I don't know. But as it is, the Dirty Birds laid an egg. I love that. I love the fact that they finished with a below 500 record. And with the $100 million quarterback and Kirk Cousins, who stole $60 million this year, guaranteed money. He's going to be one and done. Didn't even play a full season. They're going to get rid of him. I do like Penix. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the league. But I like Kirk Cousins, and I like Kirk Cousins, but it's unbelievable how the season ended like that. How he just. I know Kirk Cousins' future in the NFL is sort of like Derek Carr, right? Like there's question mark around it. And a year ago, he was going to be the savior in Atlanta. It's weird how things change so quickly.
Hey, the NFL, it stands for not for long for most people.
TK, tell us about what's going on over at Court Street Cafe.
Well, right here in Port Allen, they do such a great job with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just a couple of minutes from downtown Baton Rouge. Come over the bridge, go to your right, go to Court Street. It's on the right. You'll see it. Plenty of parking available. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. They do a super job, Jason and the staff, and the famous steak night on Saturday and the Sunday brunch. But stop by one day this week. It's really cold outside. Come sit inside and get you a warm breakfast and get your day going. Court Street Cafe. Hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. Check them out right here in Port Allen. We're always happy to be out here once a week for Sports Shorts Daily.
Yeah, yesterday on a Sunday up in Natchitoches, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame had a little bit of a fire, a little small fire at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Museum. The museum was closed around 10 a.m. and the alarms went off and everything. Everything worked accordingly as far as the sprinklers and all that. There was a little fire down on the first floor of the museum to the left along for folks that have ever been. There's like a Hall of Fame wall that has names and stuff of Hall of Famers on it that's lit up. There's some data banks where you go over there, databases where you go over there and kind of look up information and all that. One of those, there must have been a little fire behind one of those databases and it ran up the wall a little bit. So there's about probably a 10-foot strip of wall that is, fire damage and all that kind of stuff. And so museum, who's normally closed on Sundays and Mondays, obviously will be that way. It'll be closed for a couple days this week until they get ready to open, hopefully later this week. But scary situation, but all good. Doesn't look like any artifacts were really lost. Some of them got a little bit of water damage, but nothing that can't be fixed in the front. But anyway, bad deal, TK. But everything worked well, and so that was good news. But that's scary to get that phone call for sure.
Well, fortunate that there's nobody who was there. It didn't affect any people or employees or anybody who was visiting the museum. So I saw Doug Ireland. When he saw a post, that's when he made a post, and I became aware, and then I read everything and said, I even commented, glad it wasn't worse.
All right, for Tommy Christ saying I'm Ronnie Rance. Thanks for watching Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. We'll be back on Wednesday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. Until then, please like and share this video, and have a great week, everybody.